Hello and welcome back to the Conspiracy Theory, where the sexiest man in podcasting gives you the only opinion that matters. That is right, my opinion. I'm back, and I'm back with a bang, and we're coming for you. And I can't wait to give you my opinion today. Don't forget, this is the informal show on this network where I can say whatever I want until Stephen Wilson tells me I can't. Right, so don't forget, it's not the only show on the USSR. You can go and check out the feature show every Tuesday, Central every Thursday. They're all in the podcast feed. Saturday Draft Live, East meets West, where they talk about Japanese wrestling, my favourite type of wrestling on the planet. And don't forget, what else is on the YouTube show here? We've got Book It, a tournament ongoing. We'll be back around February for the semi-finals with that. And also we have Quiz Showdown. Always a good time when that shows up. I still have my Christmas tree in the back, but I'm not lazy, all right? I have got you a guest for today. Please welcome. He is one of the co-hosts of Saturday Draft Live. He is a valuable member of this team, despite what I've said in the past. It is Jack Graham. Jack, how are you?
Hello everyone, I'm very well. You said you are the sexy, I am the hot stuff. Together we are the young lions of ESSR, much like the Japanese wrestling you love so dearly, David.
Oh, I love the Japanese wrestling. I don't know how people will cope with this show. You know, they'll be wetter than a beach at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Not the sandy bit, the water bit, you know, like, because the sand bit
the important bit of the beach, yes.
I digress. I hate sand. Of course, it gets everywhere, all that jazz. But we're here to talk about some topics, Jack, and I'm getting you on just to let you let loose. You can say whatever you want here. All right?
I don't even like wrestling. That's why.
We hate it. We hate it all. But we're going to start off with a question. Will WrestleMania have fans? Obviously, WrestleMania last year did not. Famously, it's been known as the Performance Center WrestleMania. It's got mixed reviews. I think there's a lot of things they've done well. You know, a lot of things that maybe could have been better, could have been improved. But they are going back to Florida this year. WWE, Vince McMahon has been sort of very vocal about wanting fans back. Do you think we're going to get it by WrestleMania? Will it have a live crowd?
I would say it may have a live crowd to the extent that it will be the bubbles of the stars that are performing. So potentially it's like family that could be there, which they might be able to get away with if they can socially distance that. But I don't see a general audience being involved in WrestleMania in any way this year.
Really, I don't know. I'm thinking the opposite side, because if there's anything we know about Vince McMahon is that he's a mad bastard who doesn't care. He really doesn't care.
Yeah, that's true.
If anything we know about Florida, they don't care. Like, it's the combination, it's the perfect marriage. I think if he pushes for it, I think if he really puts an effort in, no matter what Biden comes out and says, no matter what anyone's going to come out and say, I think the state will give in to him. I could genuinely see there being about 5,000 fans in the stadium for WrestleMania.
See, I fell into the common trap that I forgot that Vince McMahon's an absolute pie. So I didn't take that into consideration when thinking about that. But off that, I really can't see it now. I can't. Obviously, you'll be hoping for everyone at full capacity, but there's no chance in hell I'd be getting that. I know that AEW and like the kind of Dynamite shows and I've kind of got some sort of fans in there, but I don't know how big of an audience it can be for WrestleMania.
Do you know what I think will be the reveal on this? Because we've made our sort of predictions here, but the evidence will be who's Roman's opponent for Mania. Because see if it's Brian, I don't think there'll be fans. I don't think they'll push really highly for fans. See if it's The Rock, they're going to want people in that stadium. The Rock's going to want people in that stadium. He's going to want people buying that tequila or whatever it is he's selling. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen that on his Instagram, the tequila he's going on? I really want a bottle just to see if it is as good as he says it is, because The Rock has movies, The Rock has everything, but all he seems to care about is that fucking tequila. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? Mental.
We should try to get some sort of sponsorship for that. I know it's maybe a bit far-reaching, but I'm sure we can advertise.
Yes, The Rock is going to pay us to sponsor his tequila because The Rock needs our social media reach.
He doesn't know who he's dealing with David Campbell and Jack Graham. You know what I mean? It's like
The Rock is on the phone to Gary Kernan as we speak. I know you organise the feature shows. Could I get another one in there, please? Just so these tequila sales up. So you're on the side, Jack, definitively WrestleMania. You don't think it's going to be a live crowd this year. You think that's too much for reach?
Aye, too much of a reach for a general audience to be in the show, yeah.
The friends and family. I'm going to go 5,000. I think that'll be my prediction. But what do you guys think? Send in your comments below. Let us know what you're saying. Daniel Campbell saying Roman versus the dummy Orton burned at TLC. It'd be better than working with Braun, probably.
Yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame. I like Braun sometimes. He's just boring. Do you not think he's boring now? Do you ever get?
He's not doing you any favours in purgatory right now, is he? So.
Oh, I forgot I had him. I genuinely forgot how bad it's got. I've just taken him out of the equation as a factor till the Rumble. I'm just at this point, I'm like, he's a Rumble night pick. It might be worth it then. We'll see what happens. But moving on to the next topic, she doesn't give a damn about her bad reputation. It is Ronda Rousey. And there's been lots of rumours going about. She appeared on a WWE Network gaming show this past, they just came up there. Stephen Wilson, we want to hear if the guys we think Jay White is leaving New Japan. An interesting question you posed, Stephen. I've been thinking about it all day, and here's the conclusion I've come to. I think Jay White is a man who loves three things in life. He loves sake, he loves Pokemon, all right, and he loves the tears of ungrateful wrestling fans, much like myself when it comes to the fans of the USSR. I despise them all equally, except Alan Laurie, who I hate the most. But Jay White, I think, is just absolutely taking the piss here. I don't think he'll leave New Japan yet. I think it will happen this year, but I think one more feud is on the cards, and that'll be set up at the New Year's Dash tonight. Is that the name of the Daniel Nod? Is that the name of the thing they've got on tonight? The New Year's Dash, is it? The Japanese thing? New Year's Dash? I think so. I think it is. Jack, do you care about Jay White?
I heard that he's going to be weaving and he's going to be the next feature on Santana's new album.
Oh, with Rob Thomas?
Yeah. They're coming back. The band's coming back together.
That's absolutely class. But what about Joan Jett? Let's shift musical gears here. What of Ronda Rousey? Return probably on the cards, but is it before WrestleMania? Do you think she's coming back before Mania?
Oh, maybe not before Mania, but I could see it being at Mania. Maybe.
On the same page, I think, guy.
I think there needs to be something. I don't see much way or much benefit to her coming the now, except for to promote WrestleMania. But they might advertise that she's coming back in some way. I don't think she herself wants to even do anything in the Thunderdome. It's what kind of appeal is that for Ronda Rousey? It's not. Yeah. It's nothing really. But being at WrestleMania, like making your comeback at WrestleMania. I could see that being some way if Ronda Rousey wanted to do that.
I'm trying to think where she shows up, though, is still the main question for me, because the reason I think she won't return before Mania is that I don't think there's a match for her at Mania, because it looks like it's going to be Asuka versus Charlotte, and for my opinion, Bayley versus Sasha. Those look to me to be the two women's title matches at Mania. Do you think that as an opponent, should she come back before Mania, maybe at the Rumble, maybe in the road to WrestleMania, that she could be paired up with at the event?
I'm going to hate myself for saying this, but genuinely probably the only one I could see is like Nia Jax. If they ever wanted to do anything like that way, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thinking that WWE would want to do. Yeah. That's the thing. And I've got in my head that'd be the case. Unless they went some sort of 4 horsewoman angle, I don't know, but Becky won't be back anytime soon after having a baby. That could potentially be something for after Mania, but
Vince was wanting her back for Mania. He's actually a maniac. And he's the biggest narcissist on the planet. In fact, of course she'll be back for Mania. Like, she's just had a baby. It's like, you know what I mean? She just had a Wayne. Doesn't matter. She'll be back to fight Ronda. Like the woman, like producer note.
I could see.
Daniel's just asked me, how am I supposed to know what the title of that New Year show is? You're the expert on New Japan.
That is where we announced that Scott McLeod and Grant McRobbie is no longer doing East meets West, and it is in fact us two for the monthly show.
West meets East. West meets East. It's going to be wonderful. We'll talk about it all.
I think how I see Ronda Rousey thing going is that also with Charlotte versus Asuka at Mania in shock, Charlotte will win again, and that's where Rousey will come back, and that'll be a kind of feud to SummerSlam. Then you'll get your four horsewoman thing against her lot at Survivor Series. That's what Jack says.
I think we're very much on the same page apart from one thing. I think Asuka gets a win back at Mania. And I think the one feud that Ronda didn't do, the big feud that Ronda could have done, is Ronda Asuka. And that could be a program that takes you into the summer. And then you have Charlotte get involved. And then you maybe have the four horsewomen. But I would be interested in Asuka versus Ronda. That's something I genuinely want to see. I'd have liked to have seen it against Shayna, but I don't think that's a goer the way Shayna's being treated right now. Much to my chagrin, because I think Shayna Baszler talented people in the roster, But it turns out when I like someone in the women's division, a la the Iconics, they just decide not to do anything with them. So I'm going to stop liking women's wrestlers, Jack. That's what I've decided at this point.
I've had my heart broken too many times of how brilliant Billie Kay's been at the split, but realising she's going to do bugger all.
There's your match.
Billie Kay versus Ronda Rousey.
I could actually see it. I could see Billie coming out with her resume, and she's like, I need a match at WrestleMania. It's the one thing on my resume. And then all you hear is a bad reputation hit. And Ronda just comes out and batters her. That would actually be quite a good segment, to be fair.
Billie Kay and Ronda Rousey versus Tamina and Natalya.
Yes, she's looking for a tag partner. Oh my God. That would be so class. I'd love that. Coming soon, West Meets East books the conspiracy theory. Well, yes. Obviously. Well, we're going to move on. Our last topic is quite a big one, Jack. We are going to see just rampant speculation in this show, and this is almost impossible to judge, but who do we think will be the major champions by the end of 2021? I'm going to start you off with the WWE title, the biggest title in the company, currently held by Drew McIntyre. Who do you think will be WWE champion by the end of this year?
By the end of this year, I think it will be Keith Lee will be our 2021 WWE champion by the end of the year.
I could see it. I think I agree with you, but what's your reasoning for it? What do you think the story is going to be sort of leading up to that?
Hey, see, to be honest, I don't see much rhyme or reason for it. I just think it's going to happen. I don't think I feel that Drew has not run his course, but he has gone through everyone he can, and that kind of main event scene also going to get. I was going to say, it better not be fucking Goldberg at Mania for getting this Royal Rumble, but potentially, I don't know, is Sheamus going to be the WrestleMania match? That doesn't scream a Mania match to me. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's going to get to a point there's going to be really no one left, and I think this is like a sign of things to come, and potentially might take it SummerSlam time, maybe. I don't know. Is that too soon? Perhaps, but I think he's going to get it between then and the end of the year.
I think, because I've discussed this with Ross, I think, in the predictions video that I think, or was it in Central, but the rumoured bold call Roman is still Universal Champ. We'll get to that, Stephen, but I do think he could be right on that one, but we'll get to that.
Jump the gun, you wee dick.
He's jumping the gun. How dare you jump the gun? Gun is not to be jumped, Stephen. God damn it. But anyway, I do think we're talking about the rumour match as a triple threat between Drew, Keith, and Brock at Mania. And then I've said if Drew retains or Keith wins by beating Brock, it sets up a feud between those two going forward. And I would really like to see Keith join the Hurt Business in some way. That's just something I'd really like to see. I do think your other viable option is Bobby Lashley. I could see Lashley
in my head as well. Yeah.
Could see Lashley, and I'd like it to be Lashley. I think Lashley deserves it. But it's either way. Anything more to say in the WWE title?
No, I think it goes to show how much I'm kind of caring for Raw right now that I don't have any other opinion. There's no much else. I can't see AJ Styles being in it anytime soon. Jeff Hardy's not going to get another run. Is Ali going to get it? Is like Mace or T-Bar going to be our world champions by the end of the year? Who knows?
Could see a call up, could see Mr. Cole, not Michael, but the other one. We'll see.
Leon Ruff for WWE champion 2021.
But what of the Universal champion? Steven said about Roman Reigns there. Is that something that you could see happening? Roman being champion by the end of 2021?
Yeah. I can see that still being still being the thing as well. I don't know much of who can take the belt off him. Obviously, the rumour that was going around was that Big E was going to win the Rumble and he was going to be at that spot, but he's just won the IC title, so maybe he'll be an opponent down the line for him, but I don't know if I see him winning anymore. I feel like they've put a big fat derailment on that train. I can't really see Roman carrying it, I think.
See, I think for now you're right about E. My thinking is that they build him up and E takes the title at SummerSlam, is my prediction. But I then think that's your feud for the rest of the year, so I could see Roman taking it back basically right after SummerSlam. So I'll say Roman, but I do think that E will take the belt at SummerSlam. And that is my prediction, that they'll build him up towards that moment. And I think this IC title run, we've already seen him. Like, who was it? It was Corbin he faced this week. He's defending the belt against Apollo Crews on SmackDown. Yeah, it seems to be like they're trying to get him over by using the sort of John Cena US title method, of just having him defend and put on good matches. And I could see that working. Because it worked with John Cena, who people absolutely hated. When people like Big E, so it'll work better with him. What about the NXT title, though, currently held by Finn Balor? Bit harder to call this.
I think that Karrion Kross will be our champion come the end of 2021. Obviously, the plan was to have the belt on him in August, but he tore his shoulder, whatever he did. I think that given a right build, they can get the belt back on him comfortably and kind of credibly by the end of the year.
I think so. I think this is where I'm going to go for my bold pick. I'm going to say that Jay White will be the NXT champion by the end of 2021. Because it plays into what Steven said earlier. I don't think he'll leave New Japan just yet. But could I see him leaving New Japan? Yes. Daniel says R-Truth for WWE champion. And I'll say this, see a one-night WWE championship reign for R-Truth, that would work so well. Just have him in a title match at the start of the show, champion goes mental backstage for the full night, gets the rematch in the main event and loses. That's the only way it can work, because you're not going to have a lengthy reign. But, R-Truth's not going to be NXT champion either. But Jay White, I'm going to put the prediction out there. Jay White would fit NXT. I think Triple H would love him. Triple H would really get him as well. So I'm going to go Jay White, NXT champion, but AEW champion by the end of 2021. Jack, who are you going for?
Oh, I kind of struggle with this one, and something that I'd like to see happen is MJF being the world champion for AEW by the end of 2021.
Right.
I think that. I wanted it to happen last year, but I can't understand he's still very, very young. And he already seems to be at the point where he wants to be the kind of talisman for AEW, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think they could start building up numerous amounts of title reigns for him, and I don't see why not.
I could see it. I like MJF. I think he's good. In fact, I think he's great. But I do think there is someone who deserves a title run, and there's someone who deserves to maybe be the one to dethrone Kenny Omega. They love long-term storytelling. I think it'll be Hangman Adam Page who will be holding the AEW title by the year's end. I really do.
I've lost all care for him. I couldn't give a fuck anymore.
I think he has the potential to switch it on a dime. I think this is a cooling off period for him, and I get why you're saying that. But there is something about Hangman Adam Page that I really can get behind. I love his finish. I think his finish looks fucking beautiful whenever he hits it. I
feel like he's always there's been too many points so far in his AEW career. He'll probably get a title run at some point. I don't know, but he always gets that last hurdle. And then he falls over and somehow gets told, you need to restart the race. You can't just continue for there.
Yeah. I think you're right, but I think that's part of the story. I think that's meant to be part of the charm, that he's the nearly man. He's the guy who doubts himself. He's the guy who, he's on the bottle. He's at rock bottom. And we all
lift him up. He's not the only one that doubts himself. I doubt the prick too.
Do you doubt Asuka? being Raw Women's Champion by the end of the year?
Yes, I do. And I think it will be one of two.
Okay.
My safe one is Shayna Baszler.
Okay, and I'd love that.
My bold one is Dana Brooke.
Dana? It's Dana? What?
Dana. I feel like she's turned a corner recently. I feel like she's got the backing of everyone. Yeah, Dana, exactly. Dana. She's got the backing of everyone. She's in a good program so far. She's the right look for Vince McMahon as a women's champion. She has everything going for her. They just need to pull the trigger, and I can see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to go for Ronda Rousey, but I can see it.
She'll be gone. She'll be gone by the end of the year. She'll be there for like 6 months, and that'll be it.
It's a tough one. It's a toughie because I think she'll have another year run, and then that'll be her. I think she'll have a proper another year. If she comes back at Mania, then she'll do the 12 months and move on. And I think if she does, she'll be Raw Women's Champion for the SummerSlam to Mania period. So that's why I'd go for Ronda. What about SmackDown?
Bianca Belair.
Yeah, same.
I think that's the most obvious one out of the lot for me.
Is this just what we want, though? Is this what's actually going to happen?
Who else could there be? I don't think Carmella's going to win it, even though she's got this new gimmick. I don't think they'll have Bayley or Sasha Banks to carry it to that point again. They'll have maybe have like a mini feud or something like that again. I don't know, but your only other credible person at this time, I feel that can take it to that point is thinking about Bianca Belair, unless they finally pull the trigger on Sonya Deville as well.
Sonya Deville would be amazing. I love Sonya Deville. Like, I have been on record before saying, see, when I played WWE 2K19, Sonya Deville was always my focal point of a women's division. I just love Sonya Deville. Everything about her, everything about her presentation, her presence, she's brilliant. She doesn't get with the recognition she deserves, and especially I think it was a crying shame that her and Mandy had that match at SummerSlam and she went away and Mandy's didn't get the push that I feel she should have got. Mandy Rose would be another great Raw Women's Champion. I could really get behind her, but you go Bianca, I'll go Sonya. I'll take the Sonya option just to try and differ here.
But we both want Billie Kay as SmackDown Women's Champion.
But no, I don't want Billie Kay SmackDown Women's Champion. I want Billie Kay just on the show, just constantly. I want her on commentary. I want her on announcing. I want her as the GM. Imagine Billie Kay as the GM. Just imagine world where Billie Kay general manager. Oh, amazing. NXT Women's Champion.
I think Raquel Gonzalez.
I'd love that. She is great. She does not get the credit because people look at her and they're like, "Oh, it's just another big." No, it's not. That big woman.
She's getting the credit she deserves on this show now. The voice of wrestling, me and you, we're giving it proper. Yeah.
Well, what else could she want? What else? Who else does she want the praise from? I think, but she has. I can't wait for this. It's she's going up against Ripley at New Year's Eve, isn't she? Again, I'm trying. As a stipulation, might be the last woman standing, but I could be getting that wrong. But I genuinely think that she is the future of the women's division, but she's not the person I think will be the champion by the end of 2021. I could see her having a face turn and then I think the champion, and I don't even know who the champion's name is, but it'll be the person behind these Xia Li and Boa promos, the woman I think that she will emerge from the shadows as this dominant threat, and I can't wait for it. I've loved the stuff they've been doing. I think it's been absolutely outstanding. And to see who that is, I've heard that Karen Q, I could be getting that wrong again, because I've said the name wrong so many times, and Stephen keeps messaging me after it. By the way, it's this Q. You've got the wrong, I keep getting the wrong first name. I really think it's Karen Q this time. But if it's her, then I think she'll be champion. But it could depend. Is there any other shouts we've missed out for NXT Women's Champion there?
Potentially, maybe Ember Moon getting it back. I don't know. Toni Storm. There's a lot that kind of came through.
Haley Ray, she moved up. Could be a shout.
Yeah. There's just This was something that I found quite hard because the NXT women's division is so stacked and it's such a little playing field that there's no standout pick to be a champion at any point. They could all be viable champions at any time. You could pick so many names at a hat. You could be like, yeah, she could be NXT women's champion. They've got such a gold mine with that women's division there.
That's what makes it a strong division, though, because Gary's been on record very recently saying that, you need to have women's feuds in a show that don't revolve around the title. Otherwise it's not equal. And you look at the NXT women who went through that division without being champion, the top names, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Nia Jax, all weren't NXT women's champion. Bianca Belair, wasn't an NXT women's champion. You're probably Candice LeRae, despite the good work she's doing, will probably not be an NXT women's champion when all is said and done, is my prediction. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it such a strong division. Another division that hasn't been touted as maybe the strongest is the AEW women's division. Who will be AEW women's champion by the end of 2021?
Who's the AEW women's division? That's a question in itself, isn't it? I think probably I'm going to go Penelope Ford.
Oh, that's such a good shout.
The only reason I'm thinking that is that, not that she's obviously, I think she wrestles quite a bit on Dark and correct me if I'm wrong, comments if that's the case, but I feel as if she's kind of being quietly cushioned to a point of being the champion. They're getting her involved with what's happening with Kip and Miro as well, for this wedding that's coming on. She's getting in quite a big program. Yeah. She's going to be involved in programming quite a lot. I feel that she's going to be at that point of being the women's champion come 2021 ending.
Yeah. I think it's a great shout, but I think by the end of 2021, the doctor will be ready to see us. I genuinely can't see past Britt Baker for much longer. I love Britt Baker. I think Britt Baker is the best thing about AEW's women's division, the best thing about the show for a very long time. I want to see her have a long title reign. I think she'll be the one to dethrone Hikaru Shida. As much as Grant wishes it's going to be the bargain bin Sue Young this week for his chances in the draft, Grant, hi, it ain't going to happen, you raging lunatic. But apart from that, Dr. Britt Baker has been there from day one. She was meant to be the one that we're building the division around. I think they're finally going to pull the trigger on her. I think she'll have a long title reign, and then you build up your next big baby face, because I don't think they have. Hikaru Shida, she's been a really good, respectful champion. Riho did, what she could. I don't think they have a mega face in that division yet, and I think they get crowned by beating Baker. Any other shouts, any other names that come to your head, though?
No.
Should they just buy Impact and sign the Impact Women's division?
Yeah, they should. I wouldn't mind Taya Conte or Anna Jay being women's champ. That'd be pretty cool.
Anna Jay kind of deserves it for the work he's done. You could feasibly see someone jump ship. Rosemary, I think, would be a really good.
Lana AEW Women's Champion 2021.
And with that, we come to the edition of the Conspiracy.
Where is Lana? Bring back Lana.
I'm trying to think. So we've had the R-Truth feature show, obviously. Tomorrow we have the latest edition. In fact, no, it's not. It's only Tuesday. I keep getting the date wrong. Yeah, so Thursday Central will be out, and then the next week you have the look back at the takeovers of Blackpool. The panel will be looking at that. They'll be talking about the Thistle Hotel and their review, their 5-star review of that. Saturday Draft Live, of course, comes back. You guys have got some job reviewing 3 weeks of points. After
man, Jesus, I was one of those, I was taking a break over Christmas, then got the message saying, "Oh, you've got 3 weeks of scores to talk about," and I'm like, "Oh fuck, it's my part of most this week."
So good luck with that. East meets West. They've not asked me on yet, but I'm waiting with bated breath for the phone call. Actually, I think they're contacting me now to come on the Wrestle Kingdom review. I can't imagine why. But anyway, Jack, thank you very much for coming on. Anything else you'd like to plug today?
What else have I got to plug? See, to be honest, no, I appear in your gauntlet, which is coming up soon. Isn't that right? For your
obviously, you have the Big Picture podcast. Go and check you guys out.
Of course, yeah, I've got another podcast. I was thinking of wrestling related stuff.
I was trying to help you out.
You know what?
I'll
I'll do David a good turn plugging his chai. Nah, screw that. You've got the Big Picture podcast. We've got our Mandalorian season 2 review coming out on Monday, and we're big picture on what's going to happen next with Mandalorian.
Better say nothing but good things, otherwise I swear to fucking God.
I think you're going to have quite a nice argument with Reese Cook when you listen to that. Then I'll tell you that for free.
Oh my God, I'll skin him alive. And I'm running a charity event if anyone wants to take part in a Star Wars trivia gauntlet, basically like a Star Wars Royal Rumble or the Schmodown if you've seen that. I am in the Schmodown draft, by the way. So I'm a Schmodown superstar now. Moving on to bigger things, I'm an LA man about town these days, that's just the way it is. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next month on The Conspiracy Theory. Tatty bye. Bye. Tell Daniel said.